Hey everybody, this is Ed Alexander from Fan Foundry. I'm here with Dave Giannetto, who's the CEO of the Telos Group, and we're at the beautiful San Diego Supercomputing Center on the campus of University of California at San Diego, UCSD, where the Global Strategic Management Institute, the GSMI, is hosting a Green Data Center conference. And I was fortunate enough to get a few minutes aside to go on camera, and Dave graciously agreed to do that because he brings some interesting perspective. We've had 2 days of brilliant people talking about the technological solutions for greening the data center, but Dave's got some interesting experience that I think was absolutely germane to the discussion, and it comes out of the executive consulting, the management consulting, and the risk management space. So I thought I wanted to give you a few minutes just to talk a little bit about your orientation to the whole discussion. Would you mind?
Oh, sure.
Thanks.
Most of our work with the telescope really centers around how do we use information to change the way the organization sees itself or its position in the market. So it doesn't matter if the problem we're solving is how to reduce risk for them, how to achieve competitive advantage or differentiation, or to really just improve operational effectiveness or efficiency. Most of our work revolves around how do we identify what the right information is, create a structure for the organization whereby fact-based information becomes the backbone of how they make decisions. We set aside the cultural bias the organization might have based on its history or its position in the market in the old days. And we try to prevent them from using that historical past to influence the way they're making decisions today or in the future. And for me, I believe that answer is good fact-based information delivered to all levels of the organization, and then an overlay of the right measures and metrics that reveal what performance is, what it's going to be, and an underlying layer of information that tells not only what the problem is, but why it is what it is, so that management can then solve the problem right then and there, and they don't have to go out into these huge data centers to figure out the answer. They can do that all from right behind the desktop.
So for more of a business intelligence approach.
Well, we really traditionally have been in the enterprise performance management space, which is really the next evolution of business intelligence. In the old days, we used business intelligence and we provided good, meaningful information, but we really didn't drive it through the organization, and we didn't use it to hold people accountable for their performance. Performance management tries to take that and say, this is great information, it's very meaningful, it's information that we decided that is critical to your job and the achievement of our strategic objectives, and even our tactical performance. And we expect you to make good decisions based on it, and prevent failure. And therefore, we enable people to see their performance very quickly, improve their performance. That's what we really want, and we're really after improved performance. So it adds an element of accountability that business intelligence was always missing, and therefore you get a return on investment that you never got before.
It sounds like the reward systems would need to be aligned to make that happen too. So people are motivated, measured, and monitored, and incented to do the right thing, as they say.
Yeah, well, we saw with the financial crisis what can happen when variable compensation at an employee level is different than what's right for either the overall organization or even the customer, the consumer. So yeah, the pie in the sky, the ultimate utopian dream of performance management is tying variable compensation directly to meaningful measures and metrics that tie together strategy with daily execution. That's the end goal.
Yeah, you mentioned the customer, and I heard we had the opportunity to hear you speak to the group earlier this morning at the conference, and you brought up a perspective, the customer perspective, and what drives customer decisions, and how that impacts whether or not people get behind or in front of, the environmental moniker, or what do people use as the basis for judgment. So I thought you had some interesting words there. Would you mind kind of recapping that for me?
Well, sure. It's an interesting group that's here. It's mostly a group of fairly senior IT professionals worrying about creating, concerned or interested in creating green data centers. And sometimes in the pursuit of better technology, better hardware, software, we have a tendency, especially in support organizations like IT, to lose sight of the fact that we are a support organization, and we're not just adding technology or improving technology for technology's sake. From an organization's perspective, it's really about generating revenue. Most of your technology is a huge cost, so it's got to balance out with something. And right or wrong, if we set right or wrong aside, or how things should or should not be, unfortunately in the market, although green awareness is growing and people generally want to do the right thing by the planet, maybe for the first time ever, we've not seen a shift yet in the buying habits of the average consumer. So they're not going to pay considerably more simply because a product is green. Two equal products, one being more green or green friendly and one being less, they may choose the more green friendly product. But if that green product is more money, we've seen in the past that they won't.
They might give us pause,
So we come to a conference like this and we tend to think that you know, we're really here to pursue green technology in an effort to make the planet better, but we lose sight of the fact that what we're really trying to do is differentiate our organization. The bottom line is still the bottom line, and we're still trying to improve that bottom line. So creating a green data center, like any green initiative, needs to focus on an improved bottom line right now. Maybe in the future that's going to change when consumer buying habits change and we truly become environmentally friendly. But right now, we've got to remember that this is about driving the bottom line, and that means reduce power consumption because it reduces expenses. It means improve technology because it reduces expenses. It's not simply adding more to our infrastructure because it makes us more green.
Interesting thoughts to consider. I appreciate the time with you on that perspective, David, because the business intelligence angle is not always foremost in the mind. Maybe it should be more foremost in the mind of people making these buying decisions about technology and greening and I like the fact that you added that layer of perspective. So, here we have an educational conference, and this is kind of a parting shot opportunity for both of us here. So I'm wondering if I was a data center executive and leaving this conference, is there any particular takeaways you wish I would take with me to perhaps have me think slightly differently than I have been, or maybe try things a little bit differently than I have been all along, based on your experience here and the people you've talked to and your experience in the market?
You know, what's not unique to the attendees here, you know, the attendees here are kind of a reflection of the market, and in fact maybe they're a more progressive group here because they're choosing to get involved.
Think so.
And they're probably,
but they're looking for answers, and so here we are.
They're probably higher level thinkers. I think if I were to suggest they walk away with one thing, it would be that whether you're trying to create a green data center or not, it's still about addressing business needs. You know, these are folks that live in a world where they manage or control data. But on the business side of the house, it's really about consuming information. You know, so if you look at Green Grid, we're really looking what is the value of the information they provide for the associated costs of IT. That's the next evolution. And it's wrong to expect even senior level business managers to turn around to the IT folks and translate what their business needs are into IT language. So the IT group has to step up and understand business a little bit better, look at their role in helping the organization achieve strategic initiatives. And if one of those initiatives happen to be becoming more green, how does that actually translate to an improved bottom line? It's got to be a very holistic approach at the higher level. And then as you drive it down through the organization, of course it fragments and people start to focus on smaller pieces. But if we can get IT professionals thinking about the bigger picture and trying to bridge that gap between IT and the business, then overall the whole organization can perform better, because there's no doubt IT is integral in almost every solution in business today. So we see the most effective organizations are the ones that allow technology people and business people to talk and work more effectively together, create you know, better, more cutting edge, highly differentiated solutions.
Great perspective. I appreciate you bringing that to us today, Dave. Dave Giannetto from the Telos Group here at the Green Data Center Conference, and look for the next Green Data Center Conference at www.greendatacenterconference.com. Thanks.